up? It's Breyonna. So Colourpop just sent me over the brand new Daisy Does It collection, and let me just say, this collection's really cute, but it's also massive, so make sure you grab yourself like a drink or something, because we got a lot of things to try out today. But seriously, like, this palette is so pretty, because again, it's kind of like one of those ones that has like a bright pop of color to it while also being a little bit more subdued. And like this yellow and like these green shimmers, just, oh, like, I can't wait to put these on my eyes. And again, this collection is massive, so you know, we have two packs of Super Shock shadows. Like, these are all duos and they all have a different vibe to them. We have a creme gel liner little set, which you guys know I am obsessed with, and this also has one of my favorite shades in it. We have 3 Super Shock blushes, and lastly, we have 6 Fresh Kiss glossy lip stains. But before we jump into it though, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and also give this video a like. And if you'd like to check me out over on Instagram or TikTok, it's at Breyonna as well. So first things first though, I'm gonna prime my eyes using my Colourpop Party Proof Eye Primer. I've been really liking this one lately. Like, this is becoming one of like my holy grail eye primers. But it's like one of those clear ones. So I'm just going to apply it all over my eyelid up to my brow. And then I just like to take my finger and then tap it in. So as usual though, I got a kitty cat on my lap, so if you hear any meowing or anything rummaging around, it's Wendy. But again, we are going to be going in with the Daisy Does It palette today. And if you have the Limoncello palette in your collection or the Powerpuff Girls collaboration that Colourpop did a while back, this palette is the exact same packaging as that one. So the pans of this is massive compared to the normal 9 pans. But the first shade I want to go in with is this butter yellow called Top Pick. I'm just going to be taking it on this brush from Anastasia. This is an A25. And I'm just going to be popping it all over my crease. And then blending it upwards towards my brow. Honestly, like on the first layer, I think it has a lot of pigment to it. I do want to see what a second layer does. Yeah, like this shade honestly only really needs 2 layers. You could honestly get by though with the first layer if you wanted. But the second layer just kind of gives it a little bit of an extra pop. You know, the more that I look at this palette, it's kind of like a neutral palette, but it also has like these really cool kind of like pops of color to it that just makes it a little bit different. But again, I kind of want to go in with this Flower Girl shade next. It's kind of like a corally color. And again, I'm going to be popping in my crease using this Morphe M456. It's just like a pinched blending brush, but it's a little bit on the smaller side. But I'm taking it the long way. And then I'm also like buffing it up into that yellow. Again, doing these little circular motions. It's a really pretty orange. Again, it's kind of like a coral, but it also has like a little bit of brown to it. It's not like a really bright coral. It's a very like muted kind. But again, like, it's blending out really nice and it's very easy to use. But I am doing a second layer because I'm just kind of nosy. But again, I don't feel like I would need 2 layers with this shade. It's kind of like my security blanket though, doing 2 layers. You know, just to make sure like everything is all nice and blended and even looking. But what I am going to do is actually go in with more yellow and go right on the edge. Because I don't want to lose the yellow, because sometimes when you put like an orange or like a coral next to it, it can kind of like overpower the yellow. I say like butter way too much not to use this shade and name this. So what I'm actually going to do though is I'm going to take like butter and Flower Girl and do like a 1-to-1 ratio, because I want to make sure that like butter does not like overpower Flower Girl, and I think this is gonna be the easiest way to kind of make sure it doesn't, because oh shit, like this shade is so pigmented on my brush. At least, like, I don't want it to like take away from everything. Ooh, that's a nice brown. Like, it's giving me the depth that I want without like taking away from everything. Because sometimes like when you add like a brown or like a deeper shade, it'll just overpower it just as bad as like orange does to yellow. Actually, I think red does it worse to yellow than orange, but you know, orange is very similar to red. I'm gonna go in with just a little bit now of like butter by itself now. But dang, that is a nice brown. It's a warm brown too. It's kind of like a chocolatey kind of color. I would say though, it is a little bit more on the buildable side. It's not like bam, like pigment. So it is very easy to work with. So if you're a beginner, I don't think you would struggle with this one. Hear me out. I know this is going to be weird. It might look ugly right away, but you know what? We're going to see how it works because it's in my head and I need to try it. So what I'm going to do is take that same brush that we just used, the M507, And I'm going to dip into this shade called Spun. It's kind of like a cool tone espresso brown with like a green undertone to it. Like it's one of those shades, like in certain lighting it looks more brown, sometimes it looks more green, it just kind of depends. But I'm going to take it again right in that crease. And again, I don't know if this is going to look good because green and brown don't always go well. Like a warm tone and a cool tone, just But on the first layer, I think it's really cute. I just wanted to go in with this shade though, so we have something to blend those green shimmers into, because you know I have to use the green shimmers. Like, they're just so pretty. Like, anytime I see green, I just have to use it. It's as bad for me as purple. But I'm just taking it in that crease and then blending it up. I do feel like I can see the slight amount of green to it too, which is kind of nice. Because again, I wasn't sure how it was going to work. So I did just cut my crease off camera, but now I'm just going to go in with some of Spun, that greenish kind of brown. And I'm just taking it on this outer edge using this flat shader brush from Anastasia. This is a A3. And then to cut my crease, I just used my ABH eye primer. Like seriously, I love how smoky this is turning out. Like it is so pretty. Like this greenish brown, like I might actually start dipping in with this shade out of this palette by itself because it is just amazing. And it's so hard to find these kinds of greens that have a good formula to them. But on the lid, I kind of want to go in with these Super Shock shadows, but also like I'm having a problem because what if you only want the eyeshadow palette and you want to see how the shimmers are in it? So it's like I feel kind of bad if I went in with the Super Shock. So you know what? We're going to stick with using the eyeshadow palette because of that. Because again, like I want to try out the shimmers in here too. They look really pretty. Especially like this green one right here. Like I don't know about you, but like green shimmers like this, just like I need them. And this one is called Bloom Room. And I'm just going to be taking it dry on this shader brush and oh my god. Ooh, that is pretty. Like again, I'm applying this dry. This is not damp. Oh my, like, ooh, I don't know what I was expecting, but I was not expecting this. Honestly, I was expecting this to be like a wearable wet sheen. But this is like the extra like pizzazzy kind of shimmer. It's like that like wet metallic. And again, like this is only one layer. Like I haven't even dipped in twice. Like oh, that is so pretty. I am going to go in with just a little bit more for right here. But again, like this shade is amazing. And then for the rest of the lid, we're going to go in with the lighter shimmer in here called So Fresh. Now I know this sounds kind of weird, but it's kind of like a green champagne in the pan. Okay, honestly, I don't see much of a difference between the two, like when applied, this and Bloom Room. But let's see what a second layer. Yeah, like it's just a little bit lighter. But again, it is super reflective. Like it is a really creamy, reflective kind of formula. But again, I would say it's like a yellowy champagne with like a little bit of like a green tinge to it. Maybe this one I'll kind of show it a little bit better, but you see what I mean? Like it just has like this slight amount of green to it. So I just did my complexion off camera, but I do want to go in with one of the lip products before I do the lower lash line because honestly, like I feel like I just need like something to kind of like even things out a little bit. And I will say though, before we swatch these are all fairly red with the undertone. And a lot of them are just red in general, which I'm actually kind of surprised with because I know a lot of people don't really wear red all that much. But again, these are a glossy lip stain, so I can't remember if they're like super pigmented or not. And scent-wise, they literally don't smell like anything. Now this is the one that I'm really curious about, and this is Tree Hugger, the most like a nudie shade out of all of them. And I'd say it's like a medium coverage kind of lip product. And the next one we have though is the Glory. These actually have a really nice applicator on them. Ooh, it's actually really pretty too. It's kind of like a berry wine kind of shade. Now we have Sunkissed, and this is kind of like a corally kind of color. It is pigmented. I will warn you, this one looks a lot brighter when swatched than it does in the tube. Now we have the other one I'm kind of debating on, and this one is Leave Me Alone. This one kind of looks like a cool tone kind of shade. Ooh, I really like that one too. You know, they actually look a lot more red in the tube rather than when they're swatched. So next we're going to swatch the orange one. This one's called Virtue. Like at first I was like, dang, like these are all red, but now I see they all kind of have like a very different vibe to them. And then lastly we have the deep red, and this one is Popular Culture. This one's like a really like smoky kind of red. But it's actually swatching more of like a deeper like wine. My swatches are a little janky, but this is what they look like side by side. Now, since we do have kind of like an orangey kind of vibe in the crease, I think I'm just going to go in with Tree Hugger. I think it's going to match the best with this look since it is kind of smoky and whatnot. But I am going to show you what this looks like by itself. But honestly, like normally I would pop this on top of a lip liner. But you can see it's a very like soft kind of vibe. This definitely isn't the color I would normally pair with this kind of look, but you can see like it actually has a good amount of pigmentation to it. I'd say it's like a medium kind of coverage, but you can see it has just like that little bit of like a glossy kind of look. I would say it's like a lip gloss kind of gloss, if you know what I mean. Like it's not like that super like wet, juicy kind of vibe. It's more of like when you apply a lip balm and it just has like that really like hydrated, moisturized kind of look. Again, it's not a lip balm, but it has like that kind of hydrated look to it. And I'm just going to go in with a second layer. Yeah, this one builds up. So I just took a little bit of Colourpop's BFF Lippy Pencil around the edges and kind of like buffed it in a little bit. And I actually really like these two together. I think they're really pretty. Again, this kind of product is not something I would normally wear by itself because I do prefer a more defined lip because I like really dramatic eye makeup. And I just think it kind of like complements it a little bit better. But again, like as a kind of like stain kind of lip product, I think it's really nice. I think it feels really nice on the lips. It does not look patchy. It doesn't make my lips look really crusty. It just feels really good. It's just, again, not something I would wear by itself because of my personal preference. So now we're going to do the lower lash line, and I do want to go in with one of these pencils and kind of like buff it out. And this is the Upsy Daisy Crim Gel Liner Kit. And I'm just saying, these colors are actually really pretty. I mean, look at that. And also it has extra frosting, which is one of my favorite creme gel liner pencils, hands down, ever from Colourpop. Like, this is one of the most underrated shades. Let me just show you. But it's kind of like this really pastel butter yellow. And I know it looks like a yellow right here, but when you pop it in the waterline, it kind of looks like a white that's just a little bit muted. And it also has like this little hint of yellow to it, so it looks a little bit softer. But it also gives like that waterline, like that extra pop. I don't know, I really like it. I can't recommend it enough. And here is the pink one. This one is On Point. And I think this is more of like a coral. Yeah. And seriously, I love these creme gel liner pencil formulas so much. Like, they're one of my favorite products from Colourpop. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but they do have like little flowers on the packaging, which makes them more unique to the collection. Next, we have the kind of like bronzy gold one called Captivating. Mine's kind of rubbed off a little bit. That is creamy. It's actually more of like an antique gold kind of shade. Next we have the green, which I'm really kind of tempted to use right now, and this one is IDYLLIC. I don't know what that stands for. If you know, let me know in the comments. Ooh, baby, that is pretty. That is the exact same shade as that green that we used on the eye. And then last but not least, we have the brown, and this one is Sunnyvale. Ooh, baby, these are pigmented. Ooh, that brown, though. That's like extra creamy. You know, we're gonna go in with the green one, though. And I'm just gonna pop it as close as I can to where my lashes grow out. Now, I will warn you, these pencils do dry down fairly fast, so I would recommend doing one eye first and then the other one, just to make sure that it's not chunky. And I'm just gonna take this little shader brush before it dries down. I'm gonna smudge it down. Like, it's really hard to find pencils this kind of color, and I mean, just look at how pretty that is. It's blending out really nice too. Like, it does not look cakey or chunky. I'm also just gonna take extra frosting and pop it in my waterline. But you see what I mean though? Like, it gives you the brightness of a white without being like super like stark white. So for the inner corner highlight, I do want to go in with one of these Super Shock shadows. And this first set though is called the Flower Buds. I do want to swatch them though for you guys in case you're like interested in like seeing what they look like. I will say though, like, these Super Shocks are really pretty, but some of them, I'm surprised that they paired with this palette. So like this first one is called Water Me, and it's kind of like a deepened like emerald kind of green. I'm just gonna pop it right here. Ooh, I like that. And then the other one in this set is called Ray Day, and this is kind of like a smoky purple grayish kind of shade. Oh dang! Again, like, these two I probably wouldn't have paired with this collection, but I'm also not mad about it because these are beautiful. Next we have the Lawn Party Little Duo. And this is the one that I'm more debating on for an inner corner highlight, just because they're a little bit lighter. But this first one is called Entranced, and it's kind of like a bright marigold, like the yellow kind of marigold. Ooh, that looks really metallic. You can see the glossy lip stains kind of stained me a little bit, but now this is the one I'm really debating on, and this one is Beloved. And here is what that looks like. Honestly, it looks very similar to the fresh shade that we have on. It's like the yellow version of it. It doesn't have like that little green pop to it. And then lastly, we have the Prom Duo, and ooh, wait, I'm kind of debating on that one now too. But the first one is kind of like this sage green with like a little bit of blue to it, and it's called Corsage. This one's kind of a vibe. Oh wow. Honestly, I don't know if I have a shade like this in my collection. Like, that's very unique. And then the other one is Boutonniere, and this is the one I was kind of eyeing. And this one's kind of harder in the pan compared to the other ones. And then this is what they look like next to each other. And I do have them chunked out by set. So again, I'm just gonna go in with Beloved, that yellowy one. Ooh, she's popping. Ooh, that is bright. Now I am gonna go in with more. Oop, I grabbed too much. But, dang, that is bright. Honestly, depending on what you're into, this might be even a really pretty highlighter. And then the last item that we have out of the collection are these Super Shock blushes, and this first one's really bright. It's kind of like a really bright orangey, peachy kind of shade, and this one is Doozy. I love the name of this. And also, all of these are completely matte. There's absolutely no shimmer in any of them. Okay, I actually really like that shade. At first I was like, damn, that's a little too bright for me, but I actually really enjoy it. Next we have the Chamomile one, and this one is the deepest out of the three. Ooh, it's a very like nudie, warm tone kind of shade. And then the last one we have is extremely bright, and this one is Marguerite. I know I'm saying it wrong. Let me know how to say it, please, so I don't sound so dumb. But ooh, this one's like extra creamy. And yeah, like it's really, really bright. Like if you're looking for like a hot pink that isn't like neon pink, you're probably gonna really enjoy this one. And also it's one of those pinks that has more of like an orange kind of vibe to it too. But it also has just like that little bit of pop that makes it almost kind of like electric. But again, I wouldn't say it's like a neon, but it wants to be a neon. So I'm actually gonna go in with Chamomile because I feel like this is just gonna pair the best with this look. And I'm going to be taking it on this brush I have from Rare Beauty. I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but I'm trying to be a little bit mindful of the brush I use because these can be really pigmented and I don't want like a crazy amount of blush on today. But I'm stippling it onto my cheeks, which is my preferred method with these. And you can kind of see like I'm just tapping my brush into the pan. You can also tap the excess off on the back of your hand. But I like living life on the edge a little bit. You know, actually this brush is really easy to apply these with. It's just a little bit prickly feeling when stippled. But whew, that is a pretty color. I actually really like this shade too because it's kind of bright, but it's kind of not. And then I'm also just going to go in with my sponge that I applied like my foundation and powder with. And I'm just going to tap out the edge. And then also I'm going to reapply just a little bit of bronzer. But again, it's kind of like a natural-ish pink. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, it's not like a crazy color. Like, this is a very like everyday kind of blush. I am really impressed with this collection. You know, going into this I was like, ooh, this is really cute, but you know, it wasn't like fully like my vibe because again, I'm like really into like bright colorful eye looks and a lot of smokiness and all of that. But honestly, like after trying everything, like all the formulas are really nice. Like there's literally nothing in here that didn't work out for me. I would say though the only product I'm just a little bit more meh about is the glossy lip stain. Again, it's not a bad formula, it's just not something I really reach for personally because again, I like a more defined lip and I like something a little bit more pigmented. But again, it's wearing really well and it feels really comfy on the lips. And like this eyeshadow palette, like I cannot wait to use this again and really explore the greens in here because honestly, like they're really pretty. And I mean, just look at how sparkly and like gorgeous they are on the eyes. Like, oh, like I cannot get enough. Like I really want to do a look with like these three right here, so let me know if you'd be down for that. And also, like I cannot wait to try out more of these Super Shock shadows because they're all very unique and have a really cool vibe to them. So if you'd like to see a look using these as well, let me know. And like, you know how I feel about the Creme Gel Liner pencils, and these are just as good as all the other ones in my collection. And also, I'm just saying, like, if you have not tried out Extra Frosting, do not sleep on it. Like seriously, this is by far one of the best like eyeliners I have ever used. And if you're looking for something that kind of gives like that white vibe without being like super like stark, I can't recommend it enough. Like literally everybody I have recommended this to in like my normal everyday life has said how amazing it is after they tried it. So again, if you're looking for something like this, it's really nice. And also like this darker green was really cool too, because again, like I did not set it underneath my eyes, and you can see it's like really pigmented and it does not look junky. And I also forgot to talk about the Super Shock Cheek, again in Chamomile. I hope I'm saying that right because that is how my mom pronounces it, so if I'm saying it wrong, blame her. But again, like I really like this color. I think it's very fresh and fun. Normally I would pair something a little bit more peachy with this kind of eye look, but again, I really like this color with it. But in the comments, let me know what you think about this look, and also again, let me know if you like to see looks using like the eyeshadow palette again, because again, I really want to use the greens in there. And also let me know if you like to see some looks using these Super Shock shadows, because again, like I feel like if I don't use these, I'm gonna be sleeping on them because they're all very different and unique. So just let me know what you'd like to see. But before you go though, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and also give this video a like. And if you'd like to check me out over on Instagram or TikTok, it's at Breyonna as well. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!